feature we're going to cover today is called BOSH Uplink Resource Block Reservation. Can have a different naming between one vendor to another, but the idea of this feature is very simple. The idea of this feature that you can reserve a particular BOSH resources to be used only by VoLTE users. It will be only reserved for VoLTE users and it will be only used by them. So what is the gain of such? What kind of gain expected and what kind of drawbacks? So if you look into the figure below here, this is like the different cells, and this was the uplink interference for the resource blocks, allocated resource blocks. If you look into this particular area, the red one, you can see that there is high uplink interference at those particular resource blocks here. So if the VoLTE users being occupied those particular resources, this might cause a voice quality issues and might impact your MOS, right, and voice quality in general. So VoLTE is more sensitive to the interference compared to the data. So this feature you can look into, for example, the allocated resource blocks for those particular cells, and you can, for example, you see this area is the best area. You can reserve, for example, 3 resource blocks to be used only by VoLTE users. And once those resource block is being exhausted or occupied, still the VoLTE users can use the remaining resource blocks, but at least you would ensure that as a start point, they will be using the clean band or clean resources. And those resources also will never be used by data. So this resource will all the time being clean because there will be no any transmission from data users across the same resource blocks. And the drawbacks of that part for sure that as long as you're reserving those for VoLTE users only, so this might impact your peak throughput in general for the uplink, because this will be all the time reserved for VoLTE users and cannot be used by data users. So the main recommendation usually for such features to be used as a scenario based. For example, to use it for a particular cells where you have high uplink interference and you would like to reserve a particular resources for those users. Also, there is another scenario where you have huge congestion, for example, in the cells, and you don't want like to impact the VoLTE users, so you reserve some resources for that. This is just scenarios. So usually this is like a scenario based. It's not being recommended to be done in complete network as an example. As you can see here, there is a clear gain in packet loss and block error rate once there was some resource being reserved for VoLTE. Also, the voice quality has been improved, as you can see here. So this is very simple feature, and the name of the feature can be different from one vendor to another.